Hey guys, it is April from Getting Hooga With It. Today I'm here to do my Q&A. So when I reached 500 subscribers, I did a giveaway, and the winner of that giveaway is Molly Rose. Congratulations, Molly. By the time that this video goes live, you probably already have it, and if you don't, it's in the mail. When I was doing that giveaway, I asked you guys to ask me some questions, and I am here to answer them. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have something like 75 questions here. I don't think I'm going to get through them all, but I'm going to try and go really fast to get through a bunch of these. Alyssa R asked, how did you get into reading? In grade 1, I had an amazing teacher named Dolly Callis. I loved Miss Callis so much, and she just encouraged me to read, and I just devoured so many books. I was obsessed. Nana Damaskol, I could be saying that wrong, probably am. What book or audiobook makes you feel better when you feel down? For that, I would probably go with Harry Potter. Over the course of 2017, I've been really listening to a bunch of the Harry Potter audiobooks and just loving them. It's so good to get back into that world, so that always perks me up. Journey of Becoming said, how many books are currently on your TBR? I think I have over 500 listed on Goodreads. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. I know that I probably won't be able to get to them all in my lifetime, but I like having too many books as options than not enough options. Rogers Reed says, I'd love to know your favorite Canadian author. I mean, Margaret Atwood. Of course. If you haven't read any Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale is an amazing place to start, and then I would probably skip to Alias Grace. Corey asks, when you've heard many good reviews about a book, but you start reading it and you just can't get into the plot, do you continue with it or do you move on to the next one? I try to give a book a little bit of a chance, so sometimes I'll give it 50 pages, sometimes I'll even give it more. But if I'm not liking it, then I'll just stop. That said, for YA, if I don't like it within the first 30 pages, I'm done. I don't read a lot of YA, and it has to be really good writing to really impress me, so that's kind of how I work with YA. Scarlet Jazz asks, what or where is your favorite spot to read till your heart's content? Right now it's summer, so I sit out on my front porch and read and try to ignore all of the neighbors who want to come and chat. That's horrible. I'm a horrible neighbor, aren't I? But I just love reading outside. And so I get my, iced tea or like sparkling water and just sit out there and just absorb myself. I think the reason that I get so much reading done out there is that I don't really have a lot of distractions around me, so I don't have my phone with me usually, and it's just me and a book, and just yes. Kelsey Reads asks, do you reread books, and if so, which have you enjoyed reading over again? I don't really reread a lot of books. There are some out there that I would really like to reread. I think I might actually do a video just on books I would like to reread. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Reading with Robin asks, did you have a book or book series from your childhood that made you love books? What book or series was it? There's like 2 books from my childhood that I read so many times. I am surprised they're still being held together. One was called The Balloon Tree, which was so magical. There was like a secret staircase in it. I loved anything like that when I was a kid. And the other one was The Sweet Tooth, which is about a little girl who eats too much, which that was me. Jen the Librarian says, how did you and your husband meet? Is he at all bookish? We met online. I had been online dating for a long time. I think it was like 4 years that I was online dating before I met Barry, and he had just started online dating. We went to the Museum of Aviation. I remember there was this Star Wars exhibition on, and where you got to like pick which alien you are and like what your background story was. It was so much fun. And then we went for drinks on the patio. So online dating does work. You just have to like sort through the crappy, rude guys. Just delete. Barry is not overly bookish. Like sometimes I'll force him to read books. Like he has a very long commute, and so I'll once in a while take out an audiobook for him from the library, like Bird Box. I made him read that because it's so good. And Catherine asked, how did you come up with your channel's name? I read a book about a year ago about the Hygge life, and I realized as I was reading it that I grew up that way. Like my mom always put comfort and coziness first, and I remember that very well. She always had, you know, Lorena McKinnon on in the background, and she would light candles at a certain time of the day, and things were just very cozy, and I've definitely taken that from her and implemented it into my own life. So I like to live a Hygge life. And for me, like, books are so integral to that kind of life. Like, I could not live a life of comfort and coziness without books. So that was kind of how I came up with it. Lamesha Hale, I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. She said, are you a speed reader or a snail reader like me? I think I'm more of a speed reader. It does depend on a book. If I know that I'm reading like a Margaret Atwood or something really gorgeously written, I'll spend a little bit more time with it. But that said, if I'm reading a book and the storyline is so riveting that I can't put it down, I tend to start speed reading because I just want to know what happens next. Kay Fleck asked, what are some of your favorite classic books? For this, I would definitely say Pride and Prejudice because Austen. I also loved Washington Square. I liked Far From the Madding Crowd and The Turn of the Screw. Yeah, those are some of my faves. It's a Reading Thing asked, what hobbies do you have other than reading? Ooh. I think decorating. I really love decorating my home. It really brings me so much joy. I've never owned a home before, and this is my first, and I just love, you know, decorating for fall or decorating for Christmas. It makes me so happy. I also love makeup. I should do a whole video just about my beauty books. Let me know if you guys would like that, because I love putting on makeup. It's like a soothing thing. It's almost meditative, and it's so creative. Molly Rose, who won the actual giveaway, she asked, how much time per day do you usually spend reading? And this totally depends. So during the week, I would say I'll read about an hour, and usually it's before bed. But on the weekends, I can sit there and just read for an entire afternoon. Like, I can really get a lot in, so I do most of my readings on the weekend. Alyssa White asks, which book do you think is incredibly underrated that everyone should read? For this, I'm definitely going with Come Thou Tortoise. Nobody talks about it on book 2. If you liked Lily and the Octopus, you will like Come Thou Tortoise. Grace Taylor asked a bunch of questions, but I'm going to answer, where do you buy your books? I buy my books mostly at library book sales. They are insanely amazing in Ottawa. My local library has a little section of used books that you can buy, so I go there a lot. And then there's this monthly book sale where there are tons and tons of books that you can kind of peruse through, and those are like $3 for $1, so I kind of go to town. Julie from A Girl in a Book asked, what is your all-time favorite book and least favorite book? Light Between Oceans is my all-time favorite book, and Twilight is my all-time least favorite book. / I hate it a lot. Stephanie over at That's What She Read asked me, what is your celebrity crush? I really like Idris Elba. Oh man, he's very handsome. And I really like Ben Affleck as well, but I've heard that he's like a bit cocky, so that kind of takes away from it. But he's very handsome and very smart, and I'm kind of blushing just talking about him, so those guys. Mel's Bookland Adventures. She asked, if you could go on a bookish road trip, where would you go? I would probably want to go to Bath. I feel like so many of the classic books that I'd read in university, there was always some sort of trip that the families would take to Bath. I think they do that, the Bennets do that in Pride and Prejudice, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Bath. Katie from Life Between Words says, what are some of your favorite things about Canada? I think I appreciate Canada so much more now in this political climate. Canada is very welcoming, and I love that about Canada. I love our seasons. I mean, winter in Ottawa is a little slice of hell, but I love that, you know, autumn, you really are getting the beautiful leaves changing, and, you know, summer is sweltering hot, and then you often do have a white Christmas. I love that. I love the landscape. We're so insanely lucky to have so much green space in Canada. It's really amazing, and it's all so different. I lived in BC for a little while, and the trees there and the mountains there are so different from Ottawa. Obviously, the landscape in Ottawa is very different. I've never been out east. I would like to do that. I've also not been to the Arctic. That is also insanely gorgeous. So I have never been more proud in my entire life than right now to be Canadian. I'm so proud. Thank you, Katie, for asking that. Kristen's Library asked, do you think you'll ever write a book? Oh God, I think I have tons of different fiction books that whirl around in my head. Some of them are historical fiction, some of them are thrillers. I don't know if I could write fiction. I might try to give that a go at some point in my life though, because that would be fun to try. Molly asked, do you have any siblings, and tell us about them? I do have a sibling. I have a sister who is 5 years older than me, Rebecca, who I love, who is incredibly bookish herself. Beck has very different like reading tastes than I do. So she reads almost exclusively literary fiction and classics. I am trying to pressure her to create her own YouTube channel, because honestly, I think if you liked like Jen Campbell, or if you liked Kate Howe, I think you'd like my sister. Oh, Jessica asked me, what is your favorite book character and why? I really do love Elizabeth Bennet. I just do love her. I know she's universally loved, but I like that she always considered marriage an option, even though her status, you know, they weren't rich, and they were all girls, and they could have lost everything. But I like that she wanted to marry for love. I like that she had a lot of sass, and that she was very intelligent, and she would rather read a book than chat with snooty women. I just love Elizabeth. She's awesome. And then Rachel from the Shades of Orange, she asked me, what is one of the creepiest books you've ever read? Definitely Bird Box. I mean, you all know that I love Bird Box so much. I also felt that way reading A Head Full of Ghosts. It's a book about possession. There's a scene with two sisters, and one of the sisters is potentially possessed, and she's whispering to the other, her younger sister. Oh my God. Just thinking about that scene, wow, so creepy. Okay, so those are all of the questions answered. At this point, it is a 30-minute video, and I have to cut this down to 15, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Oh, wish me luck. I'll see you guys later. Bye.